Welcome to another Friday VIP training. This is a very special training. This is not your regular Friday with Alex. Actually, I'll tell you about Alex in a little bit, but first, welcome everyone, wherever you're joining us from. Today we have a special training with a special guest. I'm going to introduce him shortly, but please let us know where are you joining us from, how long you've been in real estate. Let's get to know each other. All right, what real estate broker you're from, what city you're from. And then we're going to get started in just a couple minutes. I'll introduce you to our guest. I'll let you know what this is all about. But let me tell you, those of you who made it, those of you who took the time to register, you have made an extremely wise decision. And the rest that couldn't make it, all right, hopefully we'll help them get caught up with the replay. But this is going to be a really crucial conversation we're going to have, because this is going to be the thing that puts together the technology and all this data that is available to work with in a way that actually works for you without overwhelming you. And so that thing is very special. Again, welcome everyone. Thank you so much. I'm seeing the introductions are coming in hot. Lots of people. Make sure you use the chat to comment and to share things, and only use the Q&A if you have specific questions so that we can go over those questions throughout the presentation. So I'm seeing people from California. So right there is morning in California still.
Oh yeah,
We
10
got
a.m. This is great. Tracy, California, Sacktown. I see East Coast, Tampa.
There you go. My hometown. Used to be, actually. All right. Toronto, Ontario. Here we go.
Hot Springs, Arkansas. 35 years licensed. You got 11
Thank you
years.
so much. Yeah. Look, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're going to interrupt each other a lot, okay? So just have fun with us, okay? FYI, I just got this really great microphone that makes me sound like Elvis Presley. So I'm going to be using it a lot.
But does it give you the dance moves too?
Yes. You'll have to see. You'd have to see. All right.
Westchester, New York, 28 years. Oh man. All right, we got to turn it on today. We got some hitters in the room.
That's great. Yeah, we were wondering, like, we needed to know who is in our crowd. Are we talking to several people who are new in the industry? But looks like we're talking to people who understand this industry better than most. And we have some newbies. Yeah, there you go.
Love this.
So I have with me Drew, as y'all can see in the Zoom chat. He's our special guest. He's our VIP trainer. I'm going to introduce him shortly. And I want to ask one question before we get the ball rolling. What got you to this training today? What did you see in the invitation? What did you read? You was like, you know what? Let me go in there. What is the number one thing why you came here? I want to make sure we handle your question or your curiosity, and as well as we understand, where's your head right now. Okay.
Lead gen, AI, lead gen, AI. Help. I need help getting leads. AI. No cold calling. I like that one. No cold calling. Lead gen. All right. So we got some people who are here for the right reasons.
You're speaking our language. This is great. So again, happy Friday, everybody. We always are honored and grateful to have people such as yourselves who put time out of their busy schedule on a Friday to come get trained, to come get learned. Somebody once texted me saying, I always come every Friday because Alex is so entertaining. All right. So we're gonna try to do the best here entertaining you. And it's true. Our format here, the way we do our webinars, we're very interactive. We don't like long monologues. We don't want to do, long dissertations and get people to fall asleep. And the worst thing we don't want is people multitasking. If you're having other meetings simultaneously, or if you're driving and you're not being safe. So welcome aboard. Well, these people are really interactive, Drew. You have a nice crowd.
These people are lively for a Friday. Usually you get people who want to like drift into the weekend. I'm excited. This is going to at times, I think, feel like an algebra pop quiz.
Yeah.
So we're going to get really interactive. You guys are going to get to throw out a lot of numbers in the chat.
Yes, thank you so much for that. I'm gonna be reading the comments. If I hear any specific questions or things that I want to address, I'll bring it up throughout. And everything is being recorded, so whoever can't make it, we'll do our best to send them the recording. Of course, it's not the same, right? Because here you can actually ask a question live and get your answers. And the ramifications of what you get out of this training today, are unpredictable. We've already seen people that said, I did what you said in your training, and bam, now I have 30 new reviews, or bam, I landed a deal, or bam, I even got a TV deal. So anything can happen. Okay, we always are very careful to bring people that can only contribute to the community, to your success, your growth. We're here not just to distribute information, we're actually here to distribute actionable information, stuff you can really apply into your business. So without further ado, welcome everyone. It's 7 minutes after the hour. I want to introduce to you guys Andrew Fabrikant. So why we brought Andrew, as I mentioned, if you guys saw my message, is because he is somebody that I believe is extremely crucial to have on your side, in your court, because he understands two very important areas that you gotta be good at in your industry. One, he understands real estate. I just learned he actually was in real estate. He was a successful real estate person. He knows what it's like to grow a business. He'll tell you more details about himself, which is much more effective. So he understands real estate. He understands what it's like, what you're doing every single day, growing your business, the marketing side of it, the administration side of it, the legal side of it, and so on. So he knows, but he was a realtor or real estate person. And he is in data. He is in AI. He is in marketing and automation, which is something we're all trying to learn as fast as we can, so we don't waste time and we don't miss opportunities. And as I shared before, this is somebody we have been looking for at Real Grader for years. I'm going to say approximately 10 years, because for us, it was this thing that we couldn't really understand fully. We kind of got it, like kind of 50%, 80%. We're like, all right, how the heck do you do emails effectively, right? And how cold it's a cold email that we should think you should still use it. Do you use a long email, a short email, a big graphic, a little graphic, all these things that we had no idea about. And of course, our worst nightmare, go into spam. After all this work, just go into spam. Nobody ever, never reaching our leads. This is the man you want to talk to. This is the man that's going to educate you today. Have your notes ready. Have your brain really alert. Have your coffee, your cappuccino, whatever you need, because he's way too smart, but he knows how to speak, our language, so we can understand. So without further ado, welcome, Drew. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you, Mario. I'm really excited for this one. I put together a great deck today. We are packing a ton of information in here, and I know all of it's going to be actionable. So at the end of this, you guys are going to be able to take things away and actually put things into action. Steal what we're doing. I created a roadmap. Like Mario said, I've been in real estate. I've done this, and this, we built this strategy. We built what we're doing from problems that we encountered, and all of them revolved around how do we get more deals and how do we do them in less time. So without further ado, the holy grail of lead gen, how to convert strangers into clients and win listings without cold calling. We hate cold call. So let's start with just a question, right? I want everybody to jump in the chat here. Traditional methods of lead gen are expensive and yield low ROI. Who agrees with this? Who disagrees with this? Let's get some yes and no's in here. Agree, right? Everybody. I think everyone's going to agree. This is what set me on this journey. Everything was so incredibly expensive. And by the end of the day, I was subscribing to Zillow leads. I was paying like, I don't know, I think $30,000 a month, some months. And I probably laid out close to $150,000 before I ever saw my first dollar back. And I said, there's got to be a better way to do this. So if you are in the agree boat, you're in the right place. So the question for you is, what if you could generate highly qualified leads cheaply and at scale on your own? What we are going to do is empower you to actually do this for yourself through, the course of the next hour. Obviously, there's a lot more. Who am I? Drew Fabrikant. I've been in your shoes for approximately a decade. I started I started in finance, I was in law, and then I started a real estate brokerage. I probably ended up doing over $150 million in residential deals before I decided that I wanted to focus on data, on automation, on prospecting. I created a lead gen platform similar to like a HomeLight where we were giving out leads. I founded a bunch of different companies, national speaker. I don't know if any of you guys were at Inman in New York. I was there speaking. I'll be in Miami next week at the Luxury Resort Alliance. And I've trained, I think at this point, thousands of real estate agents. Enough about me. So, how did this whole entire thing get started? That's really the big question. So, I had a buddy back in Brooklyn. Anybody from New York? Anyone in like the Brooklyn area, New York area? Jump in there.
Let's see, New
Yeah,
York, New York.
originally Queens. Cool. So you guys know how crazy the market can be over there. And I had a buddy who got outbid two times within like 14 days. And he came to me, he was like, Drew, you're the real estate guy. You know this better than anyone. What is going on here? And why can't you just reach out to everybody in the area who has a home and ask them if they'd be willing to sell it to me? He said, Sam, that's like you're asking way too much. There's no way I'm doing that. I'm so lazy, and like we have what's on market. It's like what's on market isn't good enough. So what started with like this little conversation ended up with me telling my data team, go pull every single property in the area and try to match all of their contact info, their emails, their phone numbers. And what we ended up doing was pulling all that contact information and sending emails to every single one of them. I think it was like 14 days later, we were in contract at 1.6. We had done over 3 walkthroughs just for this one client alone. And I was like, whoa, this works. So big false belief about lead gen. Let me know, chat in, let me know if you're in this camp. I need to cold call or spend a fortune on ads to get listings. I think most people I talk to genuinely believe that this is the answer. No. Good. Deborah, thank you. No way. New belief. So this is what we've learned. The top salespeople do not chase deals. They attract them, right? That's why you guys are real greater subscribers. That's why you're doing everything that you're doing. We do this, we attract deals using data, automation, and better messaging. I'm going to take you through exactly how we can do that. But I want to ask you guys a question. Can you fill in the blanks here? Mario, you probably know the answer. More effort does not equal more money, more success. You guys are 100% spot on. More leads. It does not equal more listings. All right. So what we know, we went through lead gen 2.0. Now we're going through lead gen 3.0. AI is here. It's doing all of this stuff for us. AI can create so much more efficiency. You do not need to work harder in order to generate better results, more business, more return, more success. Let AI do it for you. 3-step process, right? Let AI get the data for you. It's going to pull properties. It's going to search contact information for you. It's going to format it for you. It's going to do all of this work that used to take you so much time. AI is going to draft copy for you. It's going to create messages. It's going to keep things short and sweet. It's going to inject social proof. These are the really important things. And finally, it's going to automate things for you, setting up journeys, planning follow-ups. And what I love about AI is it doesn't stop working, right? It doesn't have weekends. It doesn't have nights. It works while you sleep. It's like absolutely incredible. And I'm using it for everything. So Miguel Saba, he's a Compass agent in Maryland, went through this exact strategy. We set him up, 6 deals, $7 million. And my favorite part about this, he said, it took me about 20 minutes to get set up. That was like his entire investment. And now he's working smarter than he ever has and seeing real results doing it.
I just want to add briefly, I don't know how many in the room can relate here, but this mindset of having to put in hard work that's timely, time consuming, that's costly, and there's got this, there's this big cloud of mystery. Will this work? I don't know. We got to invest 6 months. We'll find out.
Oh my God.
I have to be honest. I came from that mindset. I was like, well, what else am I supposed to just keep working, working, working? Just try again, try again, try again. And we used to do this like with our email marketing, but the results, were just enough to keep us going, but never did we feel, okay, good. Now we're gonna have more time for this. It only felt, okay, now it's gonna get harder. But what you're saying here is like it's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. So really good.
Yeah. I mean, how many hours are you guys putting in? Yeah. Are you working 40-hour weeks? You're working 20-hour weeks, 80-hour weeks? Like, when I got started in real estate, I was working 80-hour weeks and it did not stop, but I was doing the wrong thing. Right? I didn't know what I was doing and I was focusing on the wrong things and I wasn't efficient. You know, I'm not saying I'm working, 40-hour work weeks now, but I can tell you, my productivity is 5x, too many hours. Yeah. I mean, we work a lot in this industry. We work nights, we work weekends, we're never off.
Yep.
All right. So here are the three things that we really want to focus on, we want to key in. Number one, seller leads aren't random. They absolutely follow patterns. And these are the most important things that we need to focus on. When we talk about efficiency, when we talk about the time that we're putting in, you spend 70 hours a week working. If you spend 60 hours working with buyers, your time is probably misplaced. Sellers are way more valuable. Number two, email is more powerful than cold calling mailers or purchase leads. I'm going to take you through exactly why. And the third thing is that follow-up is everything and that we can automate it, and automation does it best. I can't tell you how many emails I have just like sitting in my inbox right now that could be totally automated, or people on my prospect list that I have to reach out to. So one thing that I love about AI, it can tell you all of the information about your highest intent prospects, how long they've lived there, how much equity they have, how many people live there, how many bedrooms, right? They can take the loan to value, the presence of children, elders. They take all of these things that we want to research about somebody, and they can crunch all of that data, and it can do it on a massive, massive scale, right? So you guys probably in the average zip code, do you know how many people are in your zip code, in the average zip code in the US? Probably
Good
about
question.
15, probably about 15,000 people in that zip code, right? If we think about the owners in that zip code, there's probably 10,000. That's still a tremendous amount. We can't focus on 10,000 people. If we start to think about criteria, right? They've been there for 3 years, they've got children, they're going into college age. We're probably reducing that list to about 5,000. But once we put AI into the mix and we say, go out and get all this data, what it's going to do is it's going to take the 15,000 people in that zip code and it's going to drill it down to just 2,000. If we talk about 2,000, you divide that over the course of a year, you're only thinking about 180 people per month that you're trying to get in touch with. And that's going to save you a tremendous amount of time and capital, right? So what's the end goal here? What's really what are we trying to do? We are trying to get to homeowners before they raise their hand, before they've gone out to Zillow, before they've gone out to Realtor and, one of these home valuation websites. We want to get to them before they raise their hand to do it. Let's see, I see some general Q&A. What criteria are you giving to AI to find these leads? So the question is, and maybe we can put this in the chat, what criteria would you use to build an AI model? I always start there. It's like, what's really important to you? Because the answer is AI can build any of these models for you. And that's the coolest part about it. So we've built likely movers, how long they stayed, right? So we know that if you just bought a home within the last 3 years, chances are you're not going to be selling that home. If you have high equity, you may be more willing to sell. If you have a high interest rate, right? It's probably not a high transaction cost and not a high switching cost. If you have 5 kids and 3 bedrooms, you probably want to upgrade. Or if you've got 5 bedrooms and 2 residents, you probably want to downgrade. right? So children, divorce, marriage, like all of these things, all of these analytics and signifiers, we can build them into AI models. And why is it really important? Why do we need to identify these people? Well, this is the number. 75% of buyers and sellers choose the first agent that they meet. Did you guys know that? It's kind of wild. I mean, people do like 5 to 6 months of diligence before they even reach out to somebody, or, they talk to somebody. But 3 and 4 people, if you're the first agent that they come in contact with, they're going to work with you. Gary Eberhard, we just started working with Gary, like, I don't know, 2 months ago. Gary started doing proactive outreach, and you can see right here, this is an email that Gary sent out, got a response to. Hey, we're not open to selling our home on channel, but we're going to be selling our home in Shores on Wavecrest in May. We'll contact you for a meeting soon. All the best. First week, first day, Gary reached out to 12 people. He got one to respond. 5th day, he got another to respond. 25th day, he got somebody else to respond. $12 million in listing appointments in just 30 days. It was absolutely wild. And this is by proactively reaching out and not waiting for the leads to come to him. We're in selling season right now. It's March. People are about to be listing their home. If you can get in front of them, you have a 3 in 4 chance of winning that deal if you're the first person to do it. So really, really important to be timely. One thing I love about Gary, or really anybody who employs this, you can be 10 times more efficient. You can reduce your acquisition cost by over 60%. My favorite thing, 72x ROI. If you're not waiting for deals to come to you, if you're not spending money on pay-per-click advertising. So there's real results in this. The second thing that I want to key in on is that email is more powerful than cold calling mailers or purchase leads for so many reasons. I can't go into, I think, every single one today on this call because it would take me hours. But if you text secrets to 929-447-2688, I've got a 70-page guide on literally how you can build your email infrastructure. We'll go through this shortly. It's called the perfect email structure. It's 5 S's. 5 S's that are so important for generating engagement, getting responses. It'll take you through the best email tools to use and how to actually find leads. So again, 929-447-2688. I think maybe I'll just pop this in the chat so everybody has it. Or Mario, maybe we can do that. So
absolutely, yeah. Let's do that. I just want to mention that's really very special. I actually didn't even mention in the invitation that there would be any kind of gift, but this is very priceless, I have to say, because when it comes to email, as far as I know, you either get it right or you don't, and then it's a lot of wasted time, a lot of wasted energy, a lot of wasted resources. There is a way that works, the way you structure it, and there is everything else. So this is really, really, really priceless. Thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you take full advantage of this.
Yeah, I just talked to somebody. I got off with him yesterday, and he just started engaging with us. His problem, what he came up to us with, was he sent out over 50,000 emails and got 3 replies. He had absolutely no idea his email was blacklisted. He wasn't hitting the primary inbox. He was just wasting time, money, energy. I was like, when's the last time you got an email reply? He said like 6 months ago. You can waste like an entire year not even knowing that something is wrong. So we'll go through all of this. All of it's actually in the guide. So, text the number and you'll get it. But let's work through. I think you guys know the answer. I'm going to ask you. Over 50% of marketers say that this is the most effective channel because it's quick, cheap, and easy. What do you think it is? Google, Facebook, LinkedIn? Anyone in the chat? Google? Text a pretty good one. YouTube, Google. The answer is email. 50% of marketers, professional marketers, say that it is the best channel. And we wanted to actually put this to the test. We wanted to find out, well, why do you think it's the best channel? Cold calling. Um, Cold calling actually took 333 outbound calls to get an appointment at 7 minutes per call. So with all of the research, you had to put in roughly 7 minutes per call, 330 calls to get that appointment. Mailers took about 1,000 mailers to get an appointment, cost of 70 cents per mailer. Purchased leads took roughly 125 purchased leads to get an appointment at a cost of $15 per lead. And email was without a doubt the most efficient. At the time, we were spending $1.70. I think now we're closer to like 40 cents. But it was 117 at $1.70. Your investment over those different channels. Cold calling takes roughly 44 hours to get a listing. Mailers, you're putting in a roughly $700. Purchase leads, $18.75, and email was $198. I think these are numbers that nobody ever looks at, right? When they're engaging in lead gen, when they're thinking about how much their time is worth, how much investment they want to put in. That is a very, very economical channel, which is why we chose email. Pop quiz. Ready? All right. What kind of templates can we use? Question for you guys. Do you prefer emails that contain mostly images or text?
Let me do devil's advocate here. Usually we have a nice, beautiful image, like an attractive person, a beautiful property, a 3D button. People are like, "Ooh, this is good. Let me open up that email." Ooh, it doesn't matter that it takes a little while to download. So yeah, maybe nice graphics is good. But then again, what if you write a really well-written text that they just see a few lines and they're like, "Wow, I'm with you. What do you got to tell me?" So let's see.
Yeah. Right. So almost everybody, I think what I'm seeing is pretty close to the real statistics. There's no wrong answer here, right? 66, Pat Sajak. Is that Pat Sajak? I don't know. Family Feud guy. He said 66% prefer mostly images over text. Right. Again, we put it to the test. The survey was wrong. So unlike marketing is full of things that are just so super counterintuitive. We think one thing, we think we prefer the other thing, we don't know. But when it comes to brass tacks, 25% fewer opens when you send image-based emails. Does anybody know why? Trust. Yeah, images. This is like even getting people just to open them. Risk. So I'll let you guys in on a little like inside baseball. Every time you send an email, the email provider, whether it's Google or Yahoo or fill in the blank, Microsoft, those are really the big ones. They think it's an ad. Deborah nailed it. They think it's an ad. They actually measure the aspect ratio of the image to the text. And if it's a very high ratio of image to text, they push it to promotion, they push it to spam, right? So who thinks, I mean, it's up there, right? You get fewer clicks when you actually send image-based emails as opposed to text-based emails. People trust text-based emails more. Any idea how many fewer clicks? I'm going to keep on asking. Just throw in any random numbers. 75%, 35%, 35%, 60%, 51. Yeah, Deborah's nailing it. Wow, she must. Have you seen this presentation before? I haven't given it. half the amount of clicks when you're sending image-based emails as opposed to text-based emails. What else improves deliverability? This is table stakes. Personalization increases open rates by 26%. So if you're sending, your hey there or, a question about your home, 26% is what you're increasing your open rate by just by using a personalization in the header or in the first line. Remember, you're getting like 40 characters in that first line, and your subject, you should absolutely be including something like either the city, the address, a number of bedrooms, a square footage, the homeowner's name, right? All of these things can go to personalization and increase your open rates. So we know email is so important. We know that it's effective. Why do we buy leads? Right? Why? Why do we keep on doing this to ourselves? A lot of problems with email, right? And I know that you guys have been throwing some of these questions in the chat. It's too hard to get contact information. It's really hard to get somebody's email unless they gave it to you, right? Lost in the weeds. We don't know what to say, right? We even if we have a list of people, sometimes it's so hard to think about what actually connects, what engages with them. Number 3, can't hit the inbox. And this kind of ties in with number 4. It's we don't have the infrastructure, we don't have the tools to do it. But if we can solve for all of these things, we can be incredibly successful sending through email. Salespeople spend over 8 hours writing emails every week. How many of you guys think you're close to this? This is kind of average. I know I spend probably the majority of my time doing it. Do you guys have any estimate how much time you spend sending emails? No? No idea. No idea. Well, if you're in that 8 to 10 hour range, that's 21% of your day. That's a fifth of your week that you are just devoting to writing emails. So we have to do this super, super efficiently. If you remember one slide from this entire presentation, this should be it. Your goal when you're sending an email is not to sell somebody, but to pique their interest. I heard a great quote the other day from somebody. It was like, an email should be an invitation to have a conversation. It should not feel like an interruption. Everybody hates getting like those emails that feel like they're just interrupting their flow, right? So this is your number 1. I'm going to show.
I just want to add here.
Yeah.
Yeah, real quick. I wanted to make sure. I want to do like if you right now you're in your business, you're growing your business. First of all, are you working alone or do you have a team? Do you have an assistant? Do you have somebody else that does part of the work for you? But I just want you to know that whenever I see an email that's got some kind of an urgency type message, and I don't even know who this is, what's the source, or whenever I get an email from somebody who's offering me something that I didn't ask for, automatically I'm thinking it's spam. It could have been somebody I met in person, but I'm thinking, wait a minute, you're not personalizing it to me. Why are you sending me all this junk mail? And Google starts picking it up after a couple times, and he's like, yeah, you want to mark this spam? I'm like, yes, I do. We fell in that trap where our customers, our clients, they put us in spam because in the past we used to send these crazy last minute, last chance, limited spots, and people are like, what are you talking about? What is this for? Does not work.
Yeah. It's not what's relevant to you, it's what's relevant to them. And that's something that's really, really important. As a salesperson, I think one of the first things that everybody learns, and probably the hard way, is like nobody cares what you do for a living. It's just plain and simple. The only thing they care about is how you can help them. And we have to take that through day to day, right? What's in it for me, and me being the customer, right? So more engagement. What will you reach out about? Let's say I was to give you guys a list of, I don't know, I'll give you a list of 100 people right now, homeowners in your area. Do you know what you would write in that email? Or do you have no idea? So drop it in the chat. I already know what I would write, or I have no idea. Don't worry, I'm not going to put anybody on the spot here. I would know. No idea. No idea. Already know. Sales stats for their neighborhood. Okay, some people know, some people they don't have any idea. Well, 42% of salespeople feel like they don't have the right information about the prospect before talking to the prospect. And the truth is, if you had information on 100 people, just email addresses, you wouldn't know anything about them. You wouldn't know how long they've been in their home. You wouldn't know if they were a renter or an owner. You wouldn't know how many kids they have. You wouldn't know if they were an investor. So the truth is, like with a set of emails, it's really hard to know. And that's why, again, we have to use AI. We have to use data to go find information and say, okay, this person is an investor. They own 3 properties. Their portfolio value is like $7 million, and we're going to target them with an investor-friendly email. Or this person lives on a block of a home that I just sold, 3 days ago, and I've got information that I need to get to them, or maybe a buyer for their home. AI is going to grab all that information and start to segment and bucket these people for you. So you'll never be out of things to say. You'll never be in that I don't know category. So what's really important? We talked about what's in it for me and what like the consumer really wants. What they really want to know from you as a real estate agent, they want to know 3 things. One, that you have data. Number 2, that it's relevant to them. And number 3, what's in it for me as the homeowner. Data can be kind of grouped into like 3 different, buckets. It's like, I have information that you don't, and maybe that's about comps. Maybe it's about a home value increase. Maybe it's about a new assessment that's being handed down, right? Maybe it's about something that's going to increase the value of properties. We have absolutely no idea. You guys are, the experts. You have that data, but that's what your customers are looking to you for. Number 2, that data has to be relevant. So maybe it's like you're bringing a buyer, maybe you've got a private deal, maybe you can make things incredibly easy, but that's what they're also looking to you for. And then ultimately, why are they engaging with you with your service? That's really 2 things. It always comes down to 2 things. You can save them time, or you can save them money. Maybe you can make them money, right? But this is why people are engaging with you. So we have to write messages that always key in on these specific values. How do we do that? The 5 S's, really important. I know we're covering so much here today, but we built a very simple framework. You have to have an incredibly strong subject. It has to be hyper personalized, so really specific to them. Social proof. Social proof is so incredibly important. My number 3 should be my number 1. You always want to lead in with social proof. It has to be simple, 6 lines or less. When I started out in kind of call it email marketing or any sales, I had like 6 paragraphs. I was trying to convey my value. This is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I can help you. I've been in the industry for this long. I'm an expert. And it was like the shorter that email got, the more replies I got, until it was like 6 words. Right? So every time you are going to send an email, think about how long it is, cut it in half almost immediately. Spam, we're going to go through this, but you have to avoid bad words. There are bad words in your emails that you do not know about that need to come out. And how does AI fix all of this for you so that you don't have to pay attention to this presentation and you don't need to know? Right? We've built these 5 S's into a AI-based framework. We have a pre-templated prompt. If anybody wants to use it, they can sign up for Scout. It'll write all of these emails for you. We have 50 plus templates that already, follow this structure.
Somebody asked social proof. Would you expound on that?
Absolutely will. I will go through that in about 5 slides.
There you go.
First, why does the subject line matter? So question for you guys. How many opens, what open percentage do you think you'd get with the email subject, question about your home? 10%. Any more? Any more guesses? 7%, 2, 50, 60, 7%. Now let's go into question about 573 Woodbury Road, where Woodbury Road is the address of that homeowner or recipient. What do we think we're getting in terms of open rate there? 75, 80, 70, 60. Yes, you guys are nailing this. The average was 51%. I've seen these literally as high as 75%, 65%, 75% on some of these campaigns. Why does copy matter? What you're actually writing. So this is a perfect example of like what I used to think was really good. I wanted to take a moment to introduce myself and reach out as someone who's deeply familiar with the market in, Dix Hills. I specialize in connecting buyers and sellers, even in today's highly competitive environment. And I'm currently working with a motivated buyer who is eager to find a home in the area. There's a lot of eyes in there. Who thinks that this is a good email? Good email? Bad email? Short attention span, too long. Absolutely. Engagement on this, some people think it's good, was 0%. This is an example of something that got 0 replies. When we shorten it, when we go much shorter, hey Mario, I'm sure you weren't expecting my email, but I'm working with a longtime client, highly motivated to buy something in Dix Hills. They truly love the area, and I promised them that I would do everything I can to help them find their dream home while making the process as simple as possible. Would you be open to discussing or know any other neighbors who might? Anyone think they know what kind of engagement you would get on an email like this? And by the way, this has a great example of social proof built right into it. If you can see that there's a lot of psychology here, right? They truly love the area. Number one, I'm working with a longtime client. You are already generating social proof in there. You're someone who they can know, like, and trust because you're working with somebody who's already in the market. They truly love the area, and I promised them that I would do everything I can. Also really important right there. Opt-in marketing, Seth Godin, like you're not getting their permission to email them, but you have your client's permission to email. We've seen this one as high as 18%. 18% engagement, cold email, outbound. This is blowing any other channel out of the water. By the way, your average engagement, I think on direct mail is something like 0.3%. This is at 18%. Social proof. How do you generate social proof? How do you get social proof? What, let's translate that. What does social proof mean? It means, why should somebody you've never met trust you? Anybody know? Well, these are the reasons. You're an expert. How do you portray the fact that you're an expert? Anyone know? Mario, you got to know. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. So Real Grader, right? All of you guys are, or I think most of you guys are working with Real Grader to improve your digital profiles, to portray to the people who you want to talk to that you are an expert, that you have knowledge, that you've done deals, that you put effort into optimizing your digital profile, right? So one of the ways that we get people to trust us who we've never talked to before is by letting them know that we are an expert and having that digital profile. We can have neighbors reach out for us. We can get referrals. We get awards, right? You get like so-and-so is in the top 5%, the top 1%. Or you do deals and let people know that you've done deals. So social proof and then turning this into language in your outreach is important. Words matter, right? So like we're crafting these words. How many of you guys think about like putting these words in your emails on a daily basis, your marketing emails? Luxury. I've got a luxury listing, right? We're accepting offers. If you've been pre-approved or, we have people who are pre-approved or, I have a cash buyer, my buyer is pre-approved. Have you guys ever used these words in marketing emails before? I don't know. Yes. Some people, yes, 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 yeah, yep. So if you're using these, we've got to stop. We've got to stop immediately because these are spam trigger words, right? We need to use better words. We need to use words like premium instead of luxury, opportunity instead of offer, well qualified instead of pre-approved, and serious buyer instead of cash buyer. These are really important, right? So why are these words no words? Well, I like to say there's some Nigerian prince somewhere that just came into a ton of money who is now emailing grandma about like his luxury lifestyle. He's got a great offer for her. She's like pre-approved. and they've got a lot of cash that, they can exchange. And there's like some hacker out there that's trying to rip off a ton of people. And these are words that they use all the time. So you should not be using these words. We need to choose better ones. The third thing that I'm going to discuss, follow-up is everything and automation does it best. False belief. If they do not reply to my first email, they aren't interested. Like, rip out email, put in anything else. If they don't respond to my first text, my first phone call, my first advance, my wife is going to hate me for saying this. I had to chase her down for 8 months before our first date. But this is like absolutely dispelled. The new belief, you need multiple touch points, you need automated follow-ups, and you need to be able to turn maybes or no's into yeses. No does not mean no forever. It just means not right now. Right. So build into your mindset that this is a journey, and number one touch is only the beginning of it. Follow-up rules. Real numbers. 80% of sales require 5 follow-ups minimum, right? So real numbers to this. Once somebody even responds to you, if you pick up the phone and try to call them, there's generally a 28% pickup rate on the first dial. But they want to talk to you, right? They've raised their hand, indicated interest. They're only going to pick up 1 in 3 times. You got to call them 5 times. You have to absolutely get in touch with them. The stat that throws most people here, 44% of salespeople give up after 1 follow-up, right? They call once and then they never call again. Got off with another customer yesterday. I think we drove 64 replies for them over the course of the last month. They said, it's not cutting it. We're not getting the deal flow out of it that we should. Said, well, let's go through your process. How many of these people who responded got phone calls? Well, the answer was roughly 50%. Right. So if you're getting engagement, if you have somebody in your inbox, I say call them until they file a restraining order, but make sure that you take it through to resolution. Don't be in the 44% that give up. You need a process or a partner to manage, 50,000 emails plus automation. There's a lot that goes into this. Mario, we were talking about this before. There's like so much that we just don't know.
Yes, I do want to point that out, that there is so much stuff that we don't know. It's not something you can do yourself manually. I am guilty, I have to say, of spending hours trying to rearrange a Google spreadsheet and getting nowhere. And after many hours, still seeing that my data was still dirty and it still didn't make any difference. And I also want to point out on the follow-up game that the reality is, if you don't have automation, if you don't have a system, if you're realistic, you're not going to be able to follow up with people sufficiently until they're ready to do business with you. So you are going to miss out on opportunities. Somebody else is going to get the business if they have a system that allows them to sustainably follow up enough times. Because in some cases, I'm sure some of you have had that experience, somebody might respond to you after even 1 or 2 years. And it's not that they weren't interested, it's just it wasn't the right time for them, but they were keeping you on the back of their mind, thinking, okay, I will call them, and eventually they did it. But if you just give up, like, oh, clients, people are lazy, or there's nothing here, they're not interested, I've already done this enough times. If you don't have a system, you can just assume you're losing on a percentage of your possible business just because you don't have a strong system for following up.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So we basically built this entire system front to back, right? We built everything from capturing the contacts, getting the contact info, cleaning the contact information, formatting it for you, ripping through all of the spreadsheets, storing all of the data, managing it, pre-formatting it for these outreach templates, building it into like an AI message creator. And then we basically built a email automation tool that automates all this front to back. It does everything from end to end. We are happy to do a pipeline audit for anybody who is interested. You can scan the QR code and it will take you to a Calendly link. You can schedule a 20-minute audit where we will literally go through, number one, you give us your zip code, your information, and we'll tell you exactly how many people we have in that area in terms of like email addresses, phone numbers. We can probably even do like a likely mover analysis and tell you how many people would be likely to move there. Again, this is AI, so it's like it's doing it for you, and it takes us no time at all. Number two, we can go through how to craft the most effective outreach strategy. So again, grouping all of those contacts as either likely movers or people in an area where you just sold, whatever it's going to be, and then taking you through those 5 S's with your strategy, right? What's really important, and being true to you and your messaging. So using AI to do that. And number three, email deliverability suggestions. I can't tell you how many times we've done these email audits and people have come up on either like blacklists or spam blockers, or they just weren't configured the right way. So I advise everybody, like, the best place to start if this is a remotely interesting strategy for you, take the pipeline audit. Like, just get a benchmark. It'll take 20 minutes. You'll know where you need to be, and you'll know where you are starting. So I'll just throw that out for everybody right now. Obviously, we already gave the 60-page guide, and that'll give you everything you need to know to do this on your own. I'll just follow with a couple of people who have had like tremendous success. We've never run, I think, a webinar with this much information in it. So thank you so much for sitting through this. I know there was so much, but we've worked with people. We've done half of this webinar and put people on the right path, and they've come back to us. Trisha's Compass in Atlanta, 2 million listings within 90 days. Jess Jones at HomeSmart. I literally just talked to her like yesterday. She has a $1.7 million deal that she gave out as a referral in an area that she doesn't even work. Karen Hoover, 16,000 on a campaign that took 20 minutes. So same place that Miguel was in. Jody had a $650,000 listing. Justin Brickman, $1.2 million listing signed in the first 45 days. He actually, it was great. We have a Facebook group with like a bunch of agents in it. He put that in there. He's like, humble brag, I just got a $1.2 million listing from an email. He was pretty shocked about that. So, you can do this. It's within the realm of possibility. We can make it very easy. We're always happy to help. So I will pause. Let me go through the questions.
Yeah.
And see if I can answer some of these. We have a lot of questions. How do you get accurate contact info? So there are a lot of what we call data brokers out there. This is like total transparency, by the way, holding nothing back. When you go shopping on like any of, call them 50,000 websites, we have code on those websites that kind of like track where you've been. So let's say you're at, Quicken and you're filling out a web form, or, I won't use Quicken, but let's say you're on a mortgage lending website or a home, browsing portal or something like that. Capture all of that information and then create scores. And then we're able to append it back to emails or IP addresses and tell you exactly, who's in market. The truth is, we just don't read the terms. Yeah, we're allowing people to contact us for marketing purposes. So a lot of that is pulling that information and then also just making sure that we clean it. You always have to clean any cold list against an email validator. What we've seen is even some of the best providers of emails are only about 65% accurate. So if you get like 35% of those emails that you're sending to without cleaning them or validating them, they're going to, number one, bounce, and number two, you're going to get marked as spam. So you always have to clean with a third-party validator. We've built that into everything that we've done. What's your thought on MailChimp? MailChimp is an amazing tool for a very specific purpose. Keep in mind, cold email outreach is not email marketing, is not, like your sphere of influence marketing or like your follow-ups. Email has a great time and place. But, what we're talking about today, going out and getting deals and, creating engagement and having one-to-one personalized conversations, MailChimp is not built for that. You will find out very quickly that you cannot execute any of this strategy using something like a MailChimp. AI can create your spreadsheet. Yes, AI can absolutely create your spreadsheet. There's like amazing plugins and tools. You still have to, digest the data and put it into a platform and, kind of build it on your own. But you definitely can. What is the cost for this service? So we have a very flexible pricing model. What we generally suggest is like budget something between like $160 and $200 a month for this strategy, but you can do anything you want. We have people who are sending 60,000 emails a week. They obviously, are spending a whole lot more.
Let me inject here my marketing and sales expertise for the last 30 years. Rather than asking what's the cost of this service, ask how much can this make me? Because one deal can pay for this service times 10. And we've seen that happen over and over and over. You really want to look at not how much is this going to cost you, because if we thought this was beyond your budget or something, we wouldn't invite this gentleman. We would invite somebody else who feels more user friendly per se. But this is completely affordable for anybody that wants to grow their business, that's serious about it, and understands that, hey, me with all my intelligence, all my experience is not enough, because I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at relationships. I'm good at, that part. But I'm not good at all this techie mumbo jumbo stuff. But if this techie mumbo jumbo is going to get me quality individuals to deal with, hey, that's more than worth it.
Absolutely. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, why I started out on this journey was because, number one, I am incredibly lazy and I don't want to put in the work. And I wanted something that would do it for me. So, number one, it replaced something that I was already doing. So it gave me my time back. And number two, is able to generate revenue for me time and time again. It was scalable, it was predictable, it was repeatable. I just kept on doing it and it kept on working. So, I think that's the way that I think about it. And the fact that it's like the highest ROI of anything that I've ever purchased, that's just the cherry on top.
Real quick, before we go, we have less than a minute. You have one question. Does this work in Canada?
No, it does not. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you interface with Top Producer?
We interface with anybody through a Zapier integration.
There you go. Oh, that's pretty much anybody. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to go ahead. I'll let you say your words.
Oh, we got so much. But thank you, everybody. Thank you for the time. Thank you for putting up with me.
No, and I love your strategy. I want to say here, we might love me or you might hate me for this, but I'll say be incredibly lazy. Don't be a hard worker, okay? Because everyone that I know that's a hard worker, they are burned out and they're not satisfied. And they're sacrificing their family time, their health, their vitality, their golden, their good years, all right? So be lazy, get somebody that's going to help you save the work and get you just focusing on that percentage that makes all the difference.
Well said. Be lazy. I love it. Everyone have a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone. You'll get the recording later today. Contact Drew. Any questions you have his contact information. Drew, thank you so much. You just made our crowd smarter. You just elevated everything that we've been contributing to the industry for real estate. We're making a difference in the entire nation and the globe. So thank you so much for being part of this. And we hope to see you in the future. Come back and teach us some more.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.